When we made our new McDonald's Spicy Chicken McNuggets, you were praise hands emoji. Then we ran out, and you were screaming tears emoji. Now they're back, so you can be grinning face with sweat emoji. Order ahead on the McDonald's app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's.
Average weight loss 15.4 pounds in first 2 months. For guarantee cancel within first 14 days. Discount with 2 months of auto delivery. Food charged and shipped every 4 weeks. Call or see website for details.
Do you want to lose 18 pounds fast and improve your health? Now you can lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months with Nutrisystem. Get delicious breakfasts, lunches, dinners, even snacks and shakes delivered safely to your door. All delivered for free. It's easy to follow, and you'll see results in your first week. Just text FOOD to 323232. You'll get your favorite foods made healthier and perfectly balanced to put your body in fat-burning mode. Text FOOD to 323232 right now and get 50% off a month of meals and shakes. That's right, 50% off a month of meals and 50% off a month of shakes with probiotics to help support your immune system. Just text FOOD to 323232 right now. There's even a money-back guarantee. Millions of people have lost weight with Nutrisystem, and you can too. Lose up to 18 pounds in your first 2 months. Just text FOOD to 323232. That's FOOD to 323232.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
What's going on? What's going on? You are tuned into the Cigars with Mac podcast. I want to first and foremost thank you for listening to the podcast. And I want to ask everyone to please download, like, follow, and share on your favorite podcasting platform. Also, follow us on YouTube at the Cigars with Mac podcast. If you'd like to support the podcast financially, please hit us up on Cash App at Cigars with Mac, $ Cigars with Mac, $ Cigars with Mac. Also, if you have any podcast show topics you'd like to talk about or conduct business, you can email me at info@cigarswithmacpod.com. That's info@cigarswithmacpod.com. Or you can hit my line at 682-227-1780. That's 682-227-1780. You can call or text the line, either whichever one you prefer. Today's podcast is about climbing the social and corporate ladder. Climbing the social and corporate ladder. Now, I remember my mother used to tell me back when she was growing up as a kid in Monroe, Louisiana. She used to tell me how being a school teacher, especially for women, was it was a honorable profession. And back in those days, teachers made a good living. Well, it commensurated with the time, and that was a good profession to have, especially in the black community. You got black teachers, then they probably belong to a sorority, and that alone in itself is a social hierarchy when you belong to those fraternities and sororities. But she used to tell me how being a teacher was the thing to do, and hanging around teachers meant something back in the day. Fast forward now, when we start talking about social order, it seems like the entertainers, and I'm specifically targeting the black community. Why? Because I'm a black man. Anyway, it seems like the entertainers and athletes is what everybody want to be. Everybody want to be that's included in the entertainers. The IG models, the comedians. People are getting famous off of pure comedy skits. Playing sports. Becoming actors and actresses. That's the way that's the way many people in Black America come up. That's social hierarchy. But what many people probably don't know is that many actors, they start out. It's not easy in the beginning. They got to get a real big hit, to really make that money, to be on a Denzel, Will Smith status, But you have the social climbing in the regular world amongst us regular folks. For instance, we have a site called LinkedIn where people, post. It's basically a way to network, but you also post your digital resume, where you work at, what your title is. I'm the VP of marketing. I'm the VP of supply chain. I'm the supply chain director. I'm a COO, chief operating officer, And so when you start talking about social order, man, social climbing, even though that may be your corporate climb, it's still, you can have a title saying, what you are the such and such of at this company, and that brings about a social status. And so I personally see, where some people, they work for a certain company, man, and people know you work for that company, man, they'll kind of cater to you because of the prestige of working for that organization. Perfect example. I remember when the Iraq war and Afghanistan war kicked off back in 02, 03. And to be a military man or woman was the thing to do. Especially if you've been in a war, if you've been in combat, I know me personally, I joined in 04 and went to war in 05, and then I went back to war in 08 to 09, 08 to 09, and so when I was in the military, being a soldier, especially one who had the combat patch, or you was a combat vet, that carried a little pride and dignity, but it got people to, really give you another level of respect. And see, during that time, man, just wearing that uniform, man, you could get free food, you could get out of paying tickets if you got stopped by the law. You pull out your military ID. That's social. That's social clout. And so when I see people nowadays, that especially on the internet, on LinkedIn and things of that nature, that post their career, what they do, all that, it brings about a social status, for instance. Jeff Bezos, he actually just recently stepped down as the CEO of Amazon, even though he's the founder. He stepped down as the CEO finally, but he's still gonna be pulling strings in the back. But let's be honest, man. Everybody knows who Jeff Bezos is, and if you don't know, and the average person run across him and he walk in and he says, "Yeah, I'm Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon," he gonna start to get free meals. He gonna get a little bit more social clout, and so it's no different in the real world. For instance, in the black community, depending on where you are and where you hang out at, being a part of certain organizations, certain fraternities, certain sororities gives you some social clout to a degree. Why? Because black people, we hold fraternities and sororities near and dear to our hearts. We take that stuff for real. That's social clout. And my thing is, when it comes down to being a part of those organizations, if we can't network and make money together, what are we doing? Essentially, what are we doing, But believe it or not, social status is a big thing in Black America. Kind of like if a man is a pastor, don't let him be a single pastor. Man, he finna get all the women coming at him. He gonna get all them women coming at him because he's a pastor of a church, not knowing that this man, probably, doesn't make much money. Because most pastors, depending on what level they are, some don't have the luxury of being full-time ministry. And so when you start to see how valuable that is in Black America, especially Black America, I can't speak on anyone else, but in Black America, those titles and things like that mean something. Now I will say this. It isn't as clout heavy as it used to be, especially when I was a kid. But it still holds some weight, straight up. But if you a pastor and you dressing nice, smelling good, and you can talk that good talk, whether you married or single, women are gonna throw themselves at you. They just are. It come with the territory, And also, something else, I remember being in church, that being a musician has a lot of clout. Oh yeah, if you married to the minister of music, you with the minister of music, the organist, the drum player, that was like at least in Dallas, that was like his own clique within itself, man, because, contrary to popular belief, I always think most people go to the black church because of the music, man, because we know how to get down. We know how to jam, man. We make some good music. Some of the best musicians that are out today, I would say a vast majority of them came out of church, But when it's all over said and done, man, we as a people, we truly value social status, social climate. We really want to be popular. We want to be, we really want to be known in the community. We feel like, that means something. Now, to a degree, it does mean something. It really does. Now let's dig into corporate clout, corporate climbing. When people try to, climb the corporate ladder. We all know those people that work, man. They coming in early, leaving late, man, because they trying to climb that ladder. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Many companies say hard work. We always were told that hard work gets you to the top. But when you see people who are at the top, none of those people work hard. In fact, they actually make their money off your ass. What you gotta discover is when you start talking about climbing the corporate ladder, what are you willing to give up? Because there's nothing wrong with climbing the corporate ladder. And you got to understand, when you start getting to that level of the C-suites, man, or even VPs and stuff like that, directors, man, presidents, man, you really are a agent for the company you work for. Oh yeah. That's why a company, if they move you, they'll usually help you get your household, and they give you money, big money to relocate and things like that, because you pretty much are an ambassador for your organization. That's why when you start seeing cats climb the corporate ladder, I've noticed this most times, especially from a male point of view. With men, we got to be clean cut, nice haircut, always wearing a no less than a 2-piece suit with a tie, cufflinks. You got to be on point because you are a representative. But what I've also found out, people who really climb the corporate ladder, it's people who really, they know how to go with the flow. They understand corporate branding, and they understand that you can't come into an organization with your own agenda if you want to climb the corporate ladder. It's not happening. That's just what it is, man. You ain't gotta like it, you ain't gotta agree with it, but it is what it is, man. And when you start talking about climbing the corporate ladder, man, it's really all about who you know. It's really all about who you know. Sometimes it can be a fellow fraternity brother. Maybe. Sometimes it can be a fellow alum of a certain university. Maybe. Sometimes it can be that guy you go shooting and hunting with. You know? But see, when you start talking about the corporate ladder, man, I feel social status is important, but you got to be a clean-cut individual, man. When you start talking about climbing that corporate ladder, you really don't see them having like their own Facebooks. They have like a Facebook follow page because you are essentially a representation of that $1 billion organization. There's nothing wrong with that. And when you're the CEO of a company, you really don't run the organization. You're just the face of it because the board runs the organization. The board of directors, the people who put you in, who voted to put you in place, and the people who can vote your ass out. Oh yeah. See, that's where you start really playing Major League Baseball, buddy. You in the major leagues, you playing with the big dogs now. With the stroke of a pen, you can cut 20,000 jobs. With the stroke of a pen, you could increase 50,000 jobs. You're talking to the President of the United States. You're dealing with ambassadors because you essentially are a brand. You are the face of that organization. So when you start talking about climbing the corporate ladder, many people think it's all about getting degrees and things like that, but it's really about all who you know. And the company wants to know, can we trust this individual to make us look good 24/7? Because we have a legacy to uphold. You don't know who's sitting on that board or who could be sitting on the board. You don't know who's pulling the board member string. It could be the heir to the company. They're not going to let some random person fuck that up, you know? And so when you start talking about climbing the corporate ladder, man, it's all about knowing the right people, making the right connections, keeping your nose clean, moving, intelligently, making intelligent decisions. Some company, and I've noticed something. The majority of when you start talking about the C-suite, like I was telling the young lady, many black men don't hold those positions. You know? Many of us aren't the face of Fortune 500 companies. We're just not. Some companies are starting to change that, but it's locked and tight. It's locked, tight, sealed, man. You know. And if they do put a woman there, she ain't gonna be there long. They have her there for a few years just to look good for PR purposes, then they sit her ass down. You know? And really, they don't want to have these kind of conversations that I have on the podcast about why are there not more black people in those chief level, C-suite level positions. Like I said before, they'll give us positions like VP of the dumpsters, VP of trash can, Vice President of facilities and maintenance, things like that. Not that those are not significant positions, but when it's all said and done, those are not positions that, for the most part, can cut jobs or increase jobs. They got to get the okay from somebody else. And think about when you start talking about that level, man, it's layers upon layers, man, of decision makers you got to go through to get stuff done. You know? And you got to have a clean background as far as, especially nowadays, you got to be careful with your digital footprint. You know, you got to leave all your personal politics aside when you start getting to that level. And this is just things that I've noticed and I've seen, you know. I remember I worked for an organization and I asked the I think he was a COO, and he was, prior to coming there, he had been retired for a couple years, but he was the COO of Rawlings Sporting Goods, the football and shoes. And so I asked him, you know, and fast forward, when he became the COO of this new organization he worked for, he and the CEO of the company were a part of a CEO network. See, a lot of people don't know, but CEOs have networks that they all meet up and congregate and discuss business and help each other get in different positions and hire this guy to be a CEO or request this guy, you know. And I asked him, I said, how did you get to the chief operations officer position? His answer was pretty much telling me that he just got lucky. Now, I don't believe he got lucky. I believe he was just a guy that knew the right people, made the right decisions, shook the right hands, and voila. You know? It wasn't about what college he went to and all that shit. And even though those things do play a major role, they play a major role, man. Yeah. Because depending on what organization you're a part of, what college you went to, where you're an alum of, those things can get you in the door. But see, because that goes back to social status, social hierarchy. But that doesn't always get you the positions you want. But it can help. Because I've seen it help. You know? Hell, if you're an entrepreneur, you know, you can express where you're an alum of, and that could get you a contract. So social status in some, like I said before, social clout in some ways means something. You know, I've gotten jobs just because this guy that interviewed me was a veteran and I'm a veteran. It happens. So social status is important to a degree, but you cannot, in my humble opinion, solely rely on it. When you start talking about making it up the corporate ladder, man, you got to make the right connections. You got to hang out with the right people. You got to go golfing with these guys. You got to bullshit with them. You know, go hunting with them. There's a lot of factors that go into that thing. And that's something I learned as I've gotten older and really observed how things work corporately. It's kind of like some of y'all been there. When you apply for a job and you know you qualify for the job, but the damn manager was just interviewing you just to fill a damn place, just to fill his calendar up, when he or she already knew who they wanted to hire. Oh yeah. But believe it or not, that's low level shit. when you start talking about, presidents, vice presidents, CEOs, COOs, CFOs, you have to get pretty much selected for that job. Yeah, they may have the job rec open, but they pretty much know who they want. Or you got to be like you got to hire a headhunter firm to do your bidding for you. Because those firms usually have relationships with organizations and with board members and things like that. See, it goes back to networking. Most time when you start talking about those type of positions in the corporate game, corporate ladder, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, all in who you know, who you shaking hands with, who you mingling with day to day. That's really what I've seen through my experience. Most time with those positions, man, you got recruiters inboxing you, telling you, hey, we want you in our organization, this, that, and the third. Like one lady told me, they used to tell us back in the day when we were applying for jobs to keep the resume at one page. And then when you start talking about management on up positions, some of those people have 3 and 4 page resumes. They're talking about how much money they were over, how much this they were over, this millions of dollars, this billions of dollars. They want to know numbers, man. Quantifiable things. But like I said, most of the guys at the top are not necessarily, I'm not going to say they're not the most intelligent, but they have people working for them who are intelligent. And when you start giving that person at the top data, it better be spot on. It better be spot on. But anyway, people, thank you for tuning to the Cigars with Mac podcast. I want to just talk about that, man. Kind of something I was thinking about today. Social climbers and corporate climbers, man. It's a trip. Like I say, nothing wrong with either one. You pick your poison, but understand, you want to always put yourself in a position to win. That's something I learned years ago. I don't just play the game to, I don't just play the game to play. I play the game to win. And I'm always aiming to get into positions where I can help others. But anyway, people, thank you for tuning into the Cigars and Mac podcast. I'm your humble host. Please don't forget to download, like, follow, and share on your favorite podcasting platform. Also, if you got any show topics, hit us up, info@cigarswithmacpod.com. If you want to support the podcast financially, hit us up on Cash App at $Cigars with Mac. Or you can hit my line at 682-227-1780. 682-227-1780. I'm out.
When we made our new McDonald's Spicy Chicken McNuggets, you were praise hands emoji. Then we ran out, and you were screaming tears emoji. Now they're back, so you can be grinning face with sweat emoji. Order ahead on the McDonald's app.
For a limited time at participating McDonald's.